Hey guys, welcome to Quinian's Budget Crafts. If your mat has gotten really bad like this side I've cleaned, this side I've not. I actually added a little extra paint a couple days ago for some extra stuff to clean up. A good way to repair this thing is to scrub it, really. Just don't let your mat go so far as to have irreparable damage like I've done, but in order to clean this thing, you're going to wash it a few times. And I found that this seems to work the best. These are just steel wool pads with soap in them. You could use regular steel wool and add your own soap, whatever, but I got this box at the dollar store and there's 10 of them in there, so hey, why not? So what you're going to do, stick your soap in some pretty warm water, and then just start scrubbing. Now at some point you're going to get so much soap bubbles you can't see what you're doing anymore. That's when you bust out your paper towel, or you wash this by the sink and just keep spraying it off. I don't have a sink anywhere near my crafting bench, so I'll use paper towels. And don't worry about getting it too clean right away on this first initial scrub. You're just trying to get the bulk of the stuff off. So once you've gotten the bulk of the discoloration, paint, whatever else off of here, if your mat's messed up like mine, like you're going to have some things like this, don't worry about that. What you're looking for now is weird things that are off color, like this, and see if it's raised. If it's raised, we're going to shave that off, including these really deep cuts on here. We can shave that smooth. Now you can do that with one of these or one of those push window scraper things. I don't have one of those. If you're going to use one of these, be very, very careful that you don't bend it so far as to snap the blade. In fact, I recommend not using one of these, but if you have no other choice, you can put it on the thing as flat as possible and just sort of push it along with your other finger, and that'll shave off any bumps of glue and stuff sticking up. But try not to use one of these if you can avoid it, because there's too much risk of that blade snapping on you. What I like to use is one of these. This is actually a skiving tool for doing leather craft. But the blade is curved just a little bit. What happens when you use this on your mat is it won't actually dig into the mat. No matter what you do, you can't get it to dig in. It's just not going to. But it will come across and shave off any little bumps of things sticking up. Occasionally you can get it to bite, like right there. That's because there's a piece of mat sticking up. Just shave it more carefully from a different angle. And then on these super deep scratches up here, you just go with the or cuts actually. You just go with the direction of the cut, and it will shave it nice and smooth. See? Just takes that little bit that was sticking up right off the top. Now those are nice and smooth for the most part. Do more as needed. Don't get too aggressive, because when the mat does have damage on it, that's where this thing can bite into it and start digging out your lines, and that's not what you want. So in my case, what's causing so much trouble and causing the damage is that I use this for super glue, and I really should not. Regular white glue or hot glue, whatever, that's fine. You can scrape that off with your fingernail, really. But the super glue tends to bond with the mat, and it takes chunks of the mat with it. So in the future, I'm going to try to use something else when I'm super gluing. There's one little spot here that I kind of dug in a bit, but Like I said, there's other spots where I already dug into it using drills and stuff, so try not to do that to your mat. Once you go over it a few times, make sure that there's no more little chunks of things sticking up that might mess you up when you're trying to measure. Then you can go ahead and scrub it again, and that should take off the remaining stuff. If there's anything left behind that you missed, it's going to show up as a weird color when you go to wash it. Once you're happy that there's no more sticky up spots, at least for the most part, and go ahead and scrub it down again. I've got some red paint embedded in these scratches here, a little bit left here. Some of these weird color discoloration spots are probably glue, but we'll find out after we scrub it down a little bit better. It also really helps if your water is warm, and mine has gotten cold. This is also a ton easier next to the sink, so you can just keep washing it off. Alright, well that's a lot better. It's still nowhere near perfect. It's not one of those, video mill restoration, whatever, where they clearly filmed it backwards. Yeah, but, I mean, it's pretty good. This looks a little odd right now, but when it dries, it'll come back to color. I'm not sure why saturating it changes the color saturation or whatever. But if you're happy that it looks clean, I mean, mine was definitely abused, so it's never going to get like brand new again. But if you're good to go, it looks clean enough for you, there's no huge bumps that's going to mess up your measuring, then you can call that good. If that's going to be good enough for you, then go ahead and take it to your sink and spray the whole thing down really well to get all the residual soap off of it. Be careful how much hot water you use. You don't want to warp it at all. I mean, warm water is totally fine and it helps to lift the leftover paint. But yeah, don't use super hot water. There you go, guys. Take better care of your mats than I did, and this is how you bring it back to at least useful if you've gotten a little too far with it. Otherwise, if you did take better care of it, it should come really, really clean, actually. Hopefully this little tip will help you out and you can get your mats looking pretty good, or at least lasting a while longer. Of course, as always, thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.